Ethan Miller stared out the curved viewport of the Unity Sphere station. Earth looked small from here, a blue marble hanging in the darkness of space. 50 years of human membership in the Galactic Council, and what did they have to show for it? Patronizing aliens and ignored requests for help. Ambassador Miller, the council session begins in 5 minutes, said Laura Bennett, approaching from behind. Her crisp blue uniform marked her as humanity's tactical advisor, though the council rarely heeded her expertise. Ethan nodded, straightening his formal diplomatic jacket. Let me guess. They'll ignore our reports about the pirates in Arcturus. Again? Laura's mouth tightened. Most likely. I've submitted the evidence 3 times now. 27 human ships attacked in the last month alone. They walked together through the gleaming corridors of the station. Aliens of various shapes and sizes moved around them. Some nodded in greeting. Others pretended not to see them. The same old story. The council chamber was a massive circular room. 24 podiums arranged in a circle, each representing a member species. Despite being one of the major contributors to the council's peacekeeping forces, Earth's podium was positioned in the outer ring, away from the influential inner circle species. Ambassador Zak Thul, a tall reptilian with iridescent scales, called the meeting to order. His species, the Draconids, had been among the founding members of the council 5 centuries ago. We will now address the matter of the Vrexian mining operation in the Taurus sector, Zak Thul announced, his forked tongue flicking between words. Ethan sighed. The Arcturus piracy issue wasn't even on the agenda. Again. The discussion droned on for an hour before Ethan raised his hand to speak. After being ignored for several minutes, he finally was acknowledged. The Earth delegation would like to discuss the ongoing piracy crisis in the Arcturus sector, Ethan said firmly. Human colonies are under attack and our trade routes. The Arcturus situation is a minor border dispute, interrupted Ambassador Zak Thul. The council has more pressing matters to attend to. A murmur of agreement went through the chamber. Only Representative Neelix, an avian with brilliantly colored feathers, looked sympathetic. With respect, Ethan continued, 27 ships have been attacked. 15 crew members have died. We've requested assistance 3 times now. Perhaps if humans improved their ship designs, they wouldn't be such easy targets, remarked one of the silicon-based representatives with what passed for laughter among their kind. Laura's knuckles turned white as she gripped her datapad, but she remained silent. This wasn't the time for an outburst, though Ethan could tell she wanted to throw the pad at someone's head. We now turn to the matter of military allocations, continued Zak Thul, completely ignoring Ethan's concerns. The Vrexian mining operation requires protection. Earth's defensive fleet is currently underutilized. The Council proposes reassigning 3 Earth cruisers to Vrexian space. Ethan blinked in disbelief. You want us to send ships to protect Vrexian mining when our own colonies are under attack? The motion has been proposed, Zak Thul said as if Ethan hadn't spoken. Those in favor? Hands, tentacles, and various appendages rose around the room. Even before the count was complete, Ethan knew they had lost. Again, the motion passes. Earth will reassign 3 cruisers to Vrexian space within the week. The rest of the meeting passed in a blur. Ethan sat in stunned silence as more decisions were made without any real consideration for Earth's input. When the session finally ended, he and Laura walked back to the human diplomatic offices in silence. Once the door closed behind them, Laura exploded. This is ridiculous. They ignore our security concerns, commandeer our ships, and treat us like children who don't know what we're doing. Ethan slumped into his chair. 50 years of this. You'd think we'd have earned some respect by now. Laura hesitated, then pressed a few buttons on her datapad. Ethan, there's something you need to see. She handed him the device. I've been gathering this information for months. It's troubling. Ethan scrolled through the files. Reports, intercepted communications, classified council directives. His eyes widened as he realized what he was looking at. They've been deliberately suppressing our technological development, he said, his voice barely above a whisper. Laura nodded grimly. The terraforming techniques we submitted 5 years ago. The council didn't just reject them. They took them, modified them slightly, and gave them to the Draconids. The medical breakthroughs from Dr. Grant classified as potentially destabilizing and buried. Ethan continued reading, his anger growing with each file. And these directives, they're specifically designed to keep Earth dependent on council resources. We're not partners, Laura said. We're a resource to be managed and controlled. Ethan stared at the data for a long moment, then made a decision. Contact Earth. I need to speak with the Secretary General immediately. The call took hours to arrange securely. When Secretary General Paul Ramirez's face appeared on the screen, Ethan presented everything Laura had discovered. The conversation was long and intense. You understand what you're suggesting? Ramirez asked finally. I do, Ethan replied. It's drastic, but I believe it's necessary. The economic impact could be severe, Ramirez warned. Less severe than you might think, Ethan countered. Laura has run the projections. We've become more dependent on the council than necessary, but we can adapt. And frankly, the benefits of breaking free from their constraints may outweigh the costs. Ramirez was silent for a long moment. Very well, Ambassador. You have my authorization. Earth stands behind you. The next day, Ethan requested an emergency session of the full council. All 24 species would be present, a rare occurrence. As they gathered in the chamber, whispers circulated about the unusual request. Ethan stood tall at the Earth podium, with Laura beside him. The entire human delegation was present, standing silently behind them. The council recognizes Earth's Ambassador Miller, Zuckathul said, sounding annoyed at the interruption to the regular schedule. Ethan looked around the room, meeting the eyes, stalks, and sensory organs of each representative in turn. For 50 years, humanity has been a member of this council. We have contributed troops to peacekeeping missions. We have shared our resources. We have followed your rules and protocols. And in return, we have been ignored, patronized, and deliberately held back. A shocked murmur went through the chamber. Earth did not join this council to be treated as a child species, useful only for what can be extracted from us. We joined in the spirit of true cooperation and mutual advancement. Zuckathul's scales darkened with anger. Ambassador Miller, this is highly inappropriate. I am not finished, Ethan said, his voice cutting through the chamber. Today, by the authority vested in me by Earth's unified government, I am announcing our immediate withdrawal from the Galactic Council. The chamber erupted in shocked exclamations in a dozen different languages. Zuckathul banged his ceremonial staff for order, but no one paid attention. Ethan reached into his pocket and pulled out Earth's membership medallion, the symbol of their place in the council. With deliberate movements, he walked to the center of the chamber and placed it on the central table. Humanity walks its own path from this day forward. He turned and nodded to the human delegation. As one, they turned and walked toward the exit. Complete silence fell over the chamber as the stunned council watched them go. Just before reaching the door, Representative Neelix called out, Ambassador Miller, surely this can be discussed. Ethan paused but didn't turn around. For 50 years, we tried discussion. Now we try independence. The doors slid open and the humans walked out, leaving chaos in their wake. The moment the doors closed behind the human delegation, the council chamber exploded into chaos. Voices shouted over each other in a dozen different languages. Ambassador Zuckathul smashed his staff against the floor repeatedly, trying to restore order. Ethan Miller led his team down the gleaming corridor, their footsteps echoing in unison. None of them spoke. The weight of what they had just done hung in the air between them. Ambassador Miller, Laura Bennett said finally as they reached the human diplomatic compound. I've just received word from Captain Daniels. The horizon is ready for our departure. Ethan nodded. Tell Sam to prepare for immediate evacuation. I want all personnel and equipment on board within 3 hours. The human diplomatic compound buzzed with activity as staff packed up files, equipment, and personal belongings. 50 years of presence in the Galactic Council ended in a single day. Dr. Olivia Grant rushed into Ethan's office without knocking. Her lab coat was wrinkled and her curly hair escaped from its hasty ponytail. "Is it true? We're really leaving?" "It's true," Ethan confirmed. "Pack up your research, especially the projects the council rejected." A slow smile spread across Olivia's. "Hey, all of them, even the cellular regeneration therapy?" "Everything," Ethan said. "On Earth, there will be no more restrictions on your work." Olivia left quickly, almost running back to her laboratory. For years, the council had blocked her medical research, claiming it was too advanced for humans to pursue safely. Laura entered with a serious expression. "The council has called an emergency session. Our intelligence suggests they're discussing sanctions against Earth." Ethan wasn't surprised. "Any signs of military movement?" "Nothing concrete yet, but several. Warships from the Draconid and Meklar fleets have changed course. They could be moving to blockade positions." A young aide interrupted them. "Ambassador, there's someone here to see you. Ambassador Vroon from the Gelantine Confederation." Ethan raised an eyebrow in surprise. The gelatinous diplomat was known for his strict adherence to council rules. "Send him in." Ambassador Vroon oozed into the room, his translucent body shifting colors from green to blue. "Ambassador Miller," he gurgled through his translator. "What I say must remain between us." "Of course," Ethan assured him. "Several species are calling for immediate military action against Earth. They want to make an example of you." Vroon's body rippled with concern. "Ambassador Zekthul is pushing for a full blockade of your system." Laura's hand moved to her communicator. "I should alert Earth defense." "There's more," Vroon continued. "Not all species agree with this approach. Some of us—" He paused, his body turning a deeper blue. "Some of us understand your frustration." Ethan studied the gelatinous diplomat. "Are you saying what I think you're saying?" "The Gelantines have experienced similar treatment. We are considered too passive to have meaningful input." Vroon moved closer, lowering his voice. "You are not alone in your grievances, Ambassador Miller." After Vroon left, 3 more representatives secretly visited the human compound. Each shared similar stories of dismissal and marginalization by the dominant council species. On the horizon, Captain Sam Daniels supervised the loading of equipment and personnel. Tall and solid, with dark skin and watchful eyes, Sam had been skeptical about the withdrawal. "Do you think they'll let us leave peacefully?" he asked Ethan as they stood on the bridge. "I doubt it," Ethan replied honestly. "That's why I want everyone on board as quickly as possible." Sam nodded toward the view screen. "We've got company." 3 council security vessels had taken up position near the human ship. Not close enough to be threatening, but clearly monitoring them. "Ambassador," a communication officer called out, "we're receiving a priority transmission from Earth." "Secretary," General Ramirez appeared on screen. "Ambassador Miller, we've activated the defense grid across all colonies. The Sol system is on highest alert. What's your status?" "We're preparing to depart," Ethan reported. "All diplomatic personnel should be aboard within the hour." "Good," Ramirez nodded. "We've also implemented Protocol Omega." Ethan's eyes widened slightly. Protocol Omega was the code name for revealing Earth's secret technological advances, developments that had been hidden from the Council for years. "Understood, sir. We'll return as quickly as possible." As the last of the human staff boarded the horizon, Dr. Grant approached Ethan with a small case clutched against her chest. "Ambassador," she said quietly, "there's something you should see." Inside her private quarters, she opened the case to reveal several data crystals. "I've been hiding my real research for years. The Council rejected my official proposals so many times that I started keeping 2 sets of records." She inserted 1 crystal into a reader. Complex molecular structures appeared on the screen. "This is a cure for Meklar neural decay. I developed it 2 years ago, but was ordered not to pursue it because it might upset the balance of power." Ethan stared at the screen. "They prevented you from sharing a cure for a disease that kills thousands every year? That's not all." She showed him crystal after crystal, medical breakthroughs, botanical innovations, even energy technology that could have benefited countless species, all suppressed by Council directive. Take these to Earth, she said firmly. Let's show the galaxy what humans can really do. Captain Daniel's voice came over the intercom. Ambassador, we're cleared for departure, but the Council has just issued a statement. They've declared an emergency provisional sanction against Earth. In other words, an embargo, Laura translated. It begins, Ethan said grimly. The horizon. Detached from the Unity Sphere station and began moving away. The 3 Council security vessels followed at a distance. Ambassador, the communication officer called again. Incoming transmission. It's marked personal and confidential. Ethan accepted the call in his private quarters. Ambassador Vroon's pulsating form appeared on the screen. You must listen carefully, the gelatinous diplomat said urgently. The Draconids and Mechlars have mobilized their fleets, not just for a blockade. Some are calling for a preventative security action against Earth. An attack? Ethan asked, his blood running cold. They fear what happens if other species follow your example, Vroon explained. The Council is fracturing over this issue. Half want to make an example of Earth, half want to address the legitimate concerns you raised. Thank you for the warning, Ethan said sincerely. As the call ended, Laura entered. 5 more Council ships just dropped out of faster-than-light travel. They're positioning themselves between us and the jump point. Ethan stared at the tactical display. The human ship was being surrounded. Captain Daniels, he called over the comm. Activate the prototype shields. Sam's voice held a note of surprise. Sir? Those are classified beyond Council knowledge. That's the point, Captain. The Council is about to learn that humans have been holding back too. The Horizon's regular shields flickered and were replaced by a shimmering energy field that pulsed with a blue-white glow. The advanced shield technology had been developed in secret Earth labs, hidden from Council inspectors for years. On the bridge, Sam smiled as sensor readings from the Council ships showed their confusion. Set course for the secondary jump point, Ethan ordered. Let's go home. As the Horizon accelerated away, the Council ships scrambled to adjust their positions. None of them had expected the human vessel to have technology that surpassed their own. Send a message to Earth, Ethan told Laura. Tell them the Council freaked out exactly as we predicted. Admiral Kate Wright stood at the main window of Earth Central Command in Geneva. The Swiss mountains were visible in the distance, peaceful and unchanging, unlike the current situation in space. Her gray uniform was crisp, and her short silver hair perfectly in place, but the lines around her eyes showed her concern. Admiral, the Horizon has safely entered Earth space, reported her aide. Ambassador Miller reports they were followed to the jump point, but the Council ships didn't pursue them through. Kate nodded. Good. And the defense grid? Fully operational. All colonies have activated their shields. The secret fleet has been moved into position. For 20 years, Earth had been building ships in hidden facilities, ships with technology far beyond what they had shared with the Council. Protocol Safeguard had always been their backup plan if relations with the Galactic Council went badly. The Secretary General is asking for you, the aide added. There's a global broadcast scheduled in 30 minutes. Kate found Secretary General Paul Ramirez in his office, looking out at the same peaceful mountains. Do you think we did the right thing, Kate? He asked without turning. Yes, Kate replied without hesitation. We tried playing by their rules for 50 years. They never intended to treat us as equals. Paul sighed and turned to face her. His dark eyes were tired but determined. I've spent the last 2 hours talking to colony governors and Earth nation leaders. Everyone is nervous, but they're with us. The people deserve to know the truth, Kate said. About everything. That's exactly what I plan to tell them. 30 minutes later, Paul's face appeared on screens across Earth and all human colonies. Billions watched as he explained the decision to leave the Galactic Council. For 50 years we believed we were part of a cooperative alliance of species, he said. Today, I must tell you the truth. The Council has systematically suppressed human advancement, restricted our growth, and ignored our security concerns. He went on to explain how Earth had been forced to develop in secret. While officially complying with Council restrictions, we have been preparing for this day. Earth is stronger than the Council knows. As Paul spoke, Lily Chen and her team worked frantically in the main engineering facility beneath Seattle. Lily's hands moved quickly over control panels, activating systems that had been built in secret and kept dormant until now. "Power up the main defense net," she ordered. "All stations, full activation." Around Earth, massive energy projectors emerged from hidden installations. Similar systems activated on every human colony world. The technology had been developed by Lily's team over 15 years, using principles the Council had specifically forbidden humans to explore. "Defense grid at 100%, reported a technician. "All systems functioning perfectly." Lily smiled. After years of hiding their work, it felt good to finally use it openly. In a secure underground facility in Buenos Aires, Jack Winters reviewed intelligence reports with his team. As Earth's chief intelligence operative regarding alien species, he had spent decades gathering information on Council weaknesses. "The Draconids have moved 7 battle cruisers to these coordinates," he said, pointing to a star map. "But their fleet is spread thin. They've been bluffing about their military strength for years." His second-in-command, a woman named Diane, looked concerned. "What about the Mechlars? They've always been the most hostile toward Earth." Jack pulled up another file. "The Mechlars are dealing with internal problems. 3 of their colony worlds are on the verge of rebellion. Half their fleet is tied up keeping their own people in line." "You think they won't attack?" Diane asked. "They might try," Jack said, "but they're not nearly as powerful as they want us to believe." Back in Geneva, Admiral Wright met with Ethan Miller and Laura Bennett. The ambassador looked tired after his journey but relieved to be home. "The Council is in complete disarray," Ethan reported. "Before we left, at least 4 species contacted me privately to express support for our position." "Any immediate military threat?" Kate asked. Laura shook her head. "Their ships followed us to the jump point but seemed reluctant to engage once we activated our advanced shields. I think we surprised them." "Good," Kate said with a slight smile. "We have more surprises ready if needed." She led them to a secure elevator that took them deep underground. The doors opened to reveal a massive command center filled with officers, monitoring screens. "Welcome to Sanctuary," Kate said. "Earth's real defense headquarters." Ethan and Laura stared in amazement. The facility was far more advanced than anything they had seen, even on the most developed Council worlds. "How long has this been here?" Ethan asked. 15 years, Kate replied. "Built with technology the Council thinks we don't have." She led them to the main display, which showed the positions of Earth's secret fleet. Sleek warships unlike the clunky vessels Earth officially used. These ships were smaller, faster, and far more powerful. "We have 47 advanced vessels," Kate explained. "Hidden in asteroid fields, nebulae, and other locations the Council never bothers to check. Each one carries weapon systems that match or exceed Council military technology. The Council believes our most advanced ships are the Defender class. Cruisers," Laura said. "Those are practically ancient compared to these." "That was deliberate," Kate confirmed. "We showed them what they expected to see." Alarms suddenly blared throughout the command center. Officers rushed to their stations. "Report," Kate ordered. "Admiral, a small Council fleet has just entered the outer Sol system," an officer reported. 5 vessels, approaching slowly. There, weapons are powered down but shields are up. Classification: 1 diplomatic vessel, 4 escort cruisers, Draconid design. Kate turned to Ethan. "It seems the Council wants to talk." "Or they're here to spy on our defenses," Laura suggested. "Either way," Kate said, "let's show them exactly what they're dealing with." She gave a nod to her communications officer. "Activate the defense grid. Full power, complete visibility." Around Earth and throughout the Sol system, energy shields shimmered into existence. Defense platforms that had been hidden for years revealed themselves. The energy readings were deliberately left unshielded, allowing the approaching Council ships to detect exactly how powerful Earth's defenses really were. On the main screen, they watched as the Council ships slowed, then stopped completely. "They're scanning us," an officer reported. "Their energy readings show surprise, I think." Good, Kate said firmly. Message to the Council ships. Earth acknowledges your presence. Maintain your position. Any approach beyond the orbit of Mars will be considered hostile action. They watched as the Council ships remained motionless for several minutes. Then, without warning, all 5 vessels turned and accelerated away from Earth, jumping back into faster-than-light travel as soon as they reached safe distance. They're running, Laura said in disbelief. Ethan smiled. No, they're reporting back. The Council just discovered that the primitive humans have teeth. And we've just begun to show them, Kate added. Earth isn't defenseless, and it's time the galaxy learned that. 1 month after Earth's dramatic departure from the Galactic Council, the chambers of Unity Sphere Station were in constant uproar. What had begun as a single defection was turning into something far more threatening to the established order. Ambassador Zakathul slammed his ceremonial staff against the floor. Order, I demand order. His scales had dulled from their usual bright green to a sickly yellowish color, a sign of extreme stress in his species. The Falari Confederation withdraws from this council, announced a feline representative, her tail lashing behind her. We stand with Earth's complaints of unequal treatment. This was the 3rd withdrawal announcement in the past week. First the Proxians had left, then the Altair Collective, and now the Falari. All smaller powers who had long been relegated to the outer circle of influence. This is outrageous, bellowed a Meklar representative, his metallic appendages clanging against his podium. These defections cannot be tolerated. I call for immediate military action. Representative Neelix spread his brilliantly colored wings for attention. The avian diplomat had always been somewhat sympathetic to human concerns. Military action would be disastrous, Neelix cautioned. Have you not seen the reports from the observation fleet? Earth's technology far exceeds our intelligence estimates. Any aggression could lead to a war we are not prepared to win. The Council erupted into arguments once again. In a quiet corner of the chamber, Eric Stone watched the chaos with careful eyes. Officially, he remained as a diplomatic observer for Earth, but his real mission was to build alliances with sympathetic species. Quite a show, isn't it? Said a voice beside him. Ambassador Vroon's gelatinous form shifted through shades of blue and green. More dramatic than I expected, Eric admitted. 3 withdrawals in 1 week. There will be more, Vroon predicted. The Centauri are meeting right now to discuss their status. If they leave, at least 2 more species will follow them immediately. Eric kept his expression neutral, but this was excellent news. The Centauri were a respected elder species, not one of the Council's dominant powers, but influential nonetheless. Ambassador Zakathul seems to be losing control, Eric observed. The Draconids have dominated for too long, Vroon replied. Many of us have waited centuries for this moment. Across Council space, Captain Maria Vasquez patrolled the newly established border between Earth territory and Council space in her ship, the Defiance. Earth had declared a clear boundary, and Vasquez was tasked with enforcing it. Captain, we're picking up an unidentified vessel approaching from Council space, her sensor officer reported. It's running without identification transponders. Maria frowned. Heading? Directly toward Earth colony space. Specifically, the New Horizon Research Station. New Horizon was where many of Earth's previously suppressed research projects were now being conducted openly. The station would be a prime target for Council intelligence gathering. Intercept course, Maria ordered. Full combat readiness, but weapons powered down. Let's see what they're up to before we show our teeth. The Defiance smoothly changed course, its advanced engines allowing it to quickly intercept the mysterious vessel. As they drew closer, Maria studied the ship on her view screen. Council design, she noted. Looks like a Draconid scout ship, but with some modifications. Definitely not a standard patrol vessel. They've spotted us, the tactical officer reported. They're changing course, moving away from New Horizon. Open a channel, Maria ordered. When the communication link was established, she spoke clearly. Attention, unidentified vessel. You have entered Earth sovereign space without authorization. Power down and prepare for boarding. No response came. Instead, the ship accelerated, attempting to escape. Maria smiled slightly. They want to run? Show them what the Defiance can really do. Her helmsman engaged the ship's full power. The Defiance leaped forward with acceleration that would have been impossible with the engines Earth had previously admitted to possessing. Within minutes, they had overtaken the intruder. Target their engines, Maria ordered. Precision shot only. A single energy pulse struck the fleeing vessel, disabling its propulsion with surgical precision. The council ship drifted helplessly. Now let's see who our visitors are. Back on the Unity Sphere, the council meeting had devolved further into factions. In one corner, representatives from militaristic species argued loudly for a show of force against Earth. In another, moderates discussed possible diplomatic solutions. Suddenly, the chamber doors burst open. The leader of the Centauri, Clovis Prime, entered with a delegation of his crystalline species. The Centauri were ancient and rarely involved themselves directly in council politics. The room fell silent as Clovis approached the central podium. His crystalline body glittered under the chamber lights. The Centauri have observed these proceedings with growing concern, he announced, his voice resonating with harmonic tones. For millennia we have been members of this council, believing in its stated purpose of cooperation and advancement for all species. Ambassador Zakthul looked nervous. Honored Clovis, perhaps we could discuss your concerns privately. Time for private discussions has ended, Clovis interrupted. Today the Centauri formally withdraw from the Galactic Council. The chamber erupted again, but Clovis raised a crystalline hand for silence. Furthermore, we have initiated discussions with Earth and other withdrawn species about forming a new alliance, one based on genuine equality and shared advancement. This announcement hit like a physical blow. The Centauri were among the most technologically advanced species in known space. Their withdrawal was not merely symbolic. It represented a massive shift in power. As the council representatives shouted and argued, Eric Stone quietly slipped out of the chamber. His communication device buzzed with an encrypted message from Earth. Operation Domino proceeding as planned. Return home immediately. On a neutral trading station called Harmony Point, representatives from Earth met secretly with delegates from the Falari, Proxians, and Altair Collective. Jack Winters coordinated security, scanning constantly for council spies. The Centauri have officially withdrawn, he announced to the gathered representatives, and they've publicly expressed interest in our alliance. Laura Bennett, now serving as Earth's chief negotiator, looked pleased. Excellent. With the Centauri joining us, at least 5 more species will seriously consider our proposal. The council trade routes are already showing signs of strain, added a Falari delegate. Without human logistics expertise, shipping costs have increased 30% in just 3 weeks. And without proxy and mining operations, several key resources are becoming scarce, noted another representative. Laura smiled. The council is discovering just how much they relied on the species they treated as inferiors. Back in Earth space, Maria Vasquez's team had boarded the intruding vessel. What they found confirmed their suspicions. Advanced scanning equipment designed to penetrate Earth's security measures and gather intelligence on their true technological capabilities. Captain, her security officer reported, we've identified the crew, all Draconid intelligence operatives, and look what we found in their data core. He handed her a data pad. Maria's eyes widened as she read the information. Council attack plans, she said quietly. Detailed strategies for a containment operation against Earth. There's more, the officer continued. According to these files, some council species are opposing the military option. The council is fracturing over how to handle us. Maria nodded. Download everything. Then send a message to Admiral Wright. Council officially planning military action, but opposition growing within their ranks. The domino effect is working. As her crew secured the Draconid spies, Maria looked out the viewport at the stars. The galaxy was changing faster than anyone had predicted. The Council had ruled for centuries, but their power had been built on inequality and control. Now that facade was crumbling, one species at a time. 6 months after humanity's dramatic exit from the Galactic Council, Earth had transformed. The predicted economic collapse never happened. Instead, freed from Council restrictions, Human innovation exploded in every field. In Geneva, Greg Winters reviewed reports on his datapad as he walked through the gleaming halls of the new Galactic Cooperative headquarters. As the leader of Earth's diplomatic corps, he had spent these months traveling to meetings with dozens of species. The Arcturians have officially requested membership, his assistant informed him as they walked. That makes 17 species, now. Greg nodded with satisfaction. What had begun as Earth standing alone had grown into something much larger. The Galactic Cooperative, an alliance of equals, was reshaping the power structure of known space. And the Council? Greg asked. Down to 11 member species now from the original 24. Their trade networks are collapsing without the logistics expertise of the withdrawn species. In a massive conference room, Nicole Martinez prepared for the day's meeting. As Earth's ambassador to the new cooperative, she would present the finalized charter for ratification today. The document represented everything the Council wasn't: genuine equality, shared technological advancement, and mutual defense without domination. Nervous? Asked Clovis Prime, the Centauri leader who had become one of Earth's strongest allies. Nicole smiled. A little. 6 months ago, we were isolated defectors. Today we're founding a new galactic alliance. Your people took a brave step, Clovis said, his crystalline form catching the light. Many of us wanted to leave the Council for centuries but lacked the courage to go first. The massive view screens along one wall suddenly flashed with emergency alerts. Admiral Kate Wright's face appeared. Ambassador Martinez, we have a situation. A Council battle group has just attacked the human colony on Proxima Centauri 2. The room fell silent. This was what many had feared, that the Council would eventually resort to military action. Nicole's face hardened. Casualties? None so far. The colony's shields are holding. The attack appears to be led by Enforcer Vrak of the Meklar. It's not clear if he's acting with full Council authorization. Vrak was known as the most militant anti-human voice in the Council, constantly pushing for aggressive action against the rebel species. Our response? Nicole asked. The defense fleet is already en route, Kate replied. Estimated arrival in 20 minutes. The gathered diplomats watched as tactical displays showed the unfolding situation. 7 Council warships bombarded the shielded human colony, their weapons having little effect against Earth's advanced defensive technology. They're testing our defenses, observed a Falari representative. Probing for weaknesses. When Earth's response fleet arrived, the observers gasped. Instead of the few ships they expected, 30 advanced vessels dropped out of faster-than-light travel, immediately surrounding the Council attackers. That's nearly half of Earth's new fleet, someone whispered. They've been building more ships than anyone realized. On the command ship leading Earth's fleet, Admiral Wright addressed the Council forces. Attention, Council vessels. You have attacked a peaceful human settlement without provocation. Power down your weapons immediately or face the consequences. On the main view screen, a Meklar appeared. Enforcer Vrak's metallic face showed no emotion, but his voice carried clear contempt. The Council has declared all former members to be in rebellion. Your colonies are legitimate military targets. Surrender now and the Council may show mercy. Kate's expression remained calm. You have 10 seconds to power down weapons. Then we will demonstrate exactly why that would be wise. Vrak laughed, a grating metallic sound. Your primitive weapons do not frighten the Council. Time's up, Kate interrupted. She nodded to her weapons officer. Tactical demonstration only. Target their primary weapons array with precision strikes. Earth ships fired simultaneously. Pinpoint energy beams struck each Council vessel with surgical precision, disabling their main weapon systems without causing catastrophic damage. Second wave, Kate ordered calmly. Another volley fired, this time disabling the Council ship's engines. In less than 30 seconds, all 7 attacking vessels were completely immobilized, floating helplessly in space. Now, Enforcer Vrak, Kate said, about that surrender you mentioned. Back in the cooperative headquarters, the gathered diplomats watched in amazement. Such precision, murmured a Proxian representative. They could have destroyed those ships, but they chose to disable them instead. Nicole nodded. Earth doesn't want war. We never did. We simply wanted to be treated as equals. The next day, as news of the failed attack spread across council space, 3 more species announced their withdrawal. The balance of power had shifted decisively. 1 week later, on the newly constructed Harmony Station, representatives from 17 species gathered for the official signing of the Galactic Cooperative Charter. The massive circular chamber was filled with beings of all shapes, sizes, and compositions. Nicole Martinez stood at the central podium, the charter displayed before her. Today we establish a new kind of galactic alliance, she began. Not one based on domination and control, but on mutual respect and advancement. In the cooperative, no technology will be suppressed. No species will be marginalized. We will face the challenges of the universe together, as equals. As she spoke, a commotion at the entrance caught everyone's attention. A delegation of Draconids entered, led by none other than Ambassador Zakthul himself. The room fell silent as the former council leader approached the central podium. Ambassador Martinez, Zakthul said, his voice lacking its usual arrogance. The council has authorized me to request observer status at these proceedings. Nicole raised an eyebrow. Observer status? Not so long ago, you were calling for our punishment. Circumstances have changed, Zakthul admitted. The council recognizes that mistakes were made. Nicole glanced at Greg and Ethan, who had joined the gathering. Ethan nodded slightly. You may observe, Nicole told Zakthul. But understand that things are different now. If the council wishes to eventually join the cooperative, it will be as equals, not rulers. The Draconid scales shifted color in what might have been embarrassment. Understood. As the signing ceremony proceeded, Ethan Miller stood with Laura, Bennett at the back of the room watching history unfold. Did you ever imagine this? Laura asked quietly. When we walked out that day? Ethan smiled. I hoped for it, but I didn't expect it to happen so quickly or completely. The council underestimated us, Laura observed. They thought we needed them more than they needed us. A common mistake, Ethan replied. Throughout human history, the powerful have underestimated the supposedly weak. They forget that patience doesn't mean weakness, and compliance doesn't mean incapability. As the ceremony concluded, the representatives of 17 species stood together while photographers captured the historic moment. Where the council had been dominated by a few species with the rest relegated to the outer circle, here all stood as equals. 1 year later, the Galactic Council officially voted to dissolve itself. Most former members had already joined the cooperative. The few holdouts soon found themselves isolated, both economically and diplomatically. Ethan Miller, now serving as an advisor to Earth's diplomatic corps, stood on the observation deck of the Harmony Station, watching ships from dozens of worlds come and go freely. The galaxy had been transformed, all because humanity had simply walked out. Sometimes the most powerful statement was not a declaration of war, but the quiet dignity of refusing to accept unfair treatment any longer. Humans had walked out, and not only had the council freaked out fast, but the entire galaxy had changed for the better.